What's going on, Compass students? How you doing? Hey, welcome to One-on-One at One. I'm Josh. I'm the student pastor here at Compass Roanoke. Hey, I hope you guys were able to check out last night's online service. If you missed it, you can go back and watch it. Just go on YouTube and search for Compass ROSM. It's also on Facebook, the same Compass ROSM. You can find that on there, and you can also check out our Instagram feed and make sure you stay up to date on everything that's going on. Well, today we are talking about forgiveness. And forgiveness is one of those tough words. Like, it's something that we definitely want to do. We want to be forgiving to other people. God calls us to be forgiving, and He forgives us of our sins. 1 John 1:9 says, if we confess our sins, He is faithful and righteous to forgive us our sins and to cleanse us from all unrighteousness. Sometimes I've found it's actually easier to forgive other people, though, than it is to forgive myself of some things. Have you ever had that same issue? Like, it depends on what it is, right? Some people are hard to forgive. And those things, like, they take a lot of prayer, and you've got to be really super intentional. And maybe for some people, it's a repetitive thing that you need to continue to forgive them. But sometimes forgiving yourself can be really hard too. I heard a pastor one time say that if you don't forgive yourself, you're basically telling Jesus that His work on the cross wasn't good enough, which is kind of hard to get your brain around. Like, that's a lot. Like, I'm not about to say, Jesus, thanks for dying for me on the cross, but my sin is too much. Like, that's not the way that it works. Like, Jesus died once for all sin. And like that verse we just talked about in 1 John, He's faithful to forgive us of our sin. But again, sometimes it can be hard to forgive ourselves. And that doesn't mean that you're going to forget things. Forgiveness does not equal forgetting, which is why we need to continue to forgive ourselves and ask God to help you with that. And when you go back to God and say, hey, I need you to forgive me for this, if you've already confessed that, you're still forgiven. And He's going to tell you, hey, you're forgiven. I love you. I've forgiven you for this already, but He'll help you get through that. There's this really awesome verse in the book of Psalms that I really like. The whole chapter of the 103rd Psalm is really awesome, but he talks about how faithful God is and how He's righteous and the way that He forgives us of our sins. But in verse 10, he says, He does not deal with us according to our sins, nor repay us according to our iniquities. For as high as the heavens are above the earth, so great is His steadfast love toward those who fear Him. As far as the east is from the west, so far does He remove our transgressions from us. That's awesome. Like, as high as the earth is to the heavens, and as far as east is to the west, that's how far away He removes our sin if we confess our sin. And we should do that for other people. When people come to us and ask us for forgiveness, that's the kind of forgiveness we need to give them. Now, we're not able to forget and remove things as far as the east is to the west because we're not God, right? But what God is saying is we want to imitate Him and not hold on to things, not try to not hold a grudge and not be bitter towards people. The great songwriter and storyteller Don Henley from the Eagles, there's a song called "The Heart of the Matter." And in the bridge of the song, it's funny, he talks about forgiveness. And he talks about how there's people in your life who've come and gone, and they've let you down, and they may have hurt your pride. But you've got to put it all behind you because life goes on. And if you keep carrying that anger, it'll eat you up inside. And that's 100% correct. If you don't forgive someone, it's like you drinking poison, but expecting them to die. It's a terrible thing. So be forgiving to people. And it's not easy. But be forgiving to people. God will help you with that. And forgive yourself. Allow Jesus to come in and give you that peace. Forgive yourself. And it just starts with confessing your sin and confessing your weakness that you need forgiveness. I hope you guys tune in tomorrow. We have our Friday free-for-all, so if you've got questions, you can send them to me. Tune in. We'll answer your questions. Check it out. And also, we have service tonight at, you go to YouTube, just look for Compass Roanoke. We've got our service tonight at 6:30. And then we have our Sunday services, 8:45, 10, and 11:30. But I hope you guys are having an awesome week. Let me know how I can be praying for you. Love you guys. Have a good one.